My elementary school art teacher made it clear to me that I was not, and probably never would be, an artist. Very clear. His feedback on my work was dismissive and disappointed. Before I was 11 years old, I had certainty that I was not good at painting or sculpting or any visual artistic medium. I'm sure Mr. What's His Name meant well, but I'm not certain what the benefit was of making me feel like a failure at art before I hit puberty. As an adult, thankfully, I've had influences and friends and caring people around me who have taught me that art is actually something you have permission to explore, not something that you should feel pressure to get right. I still don't feel confident experimenting with art. There are old stories still running through my mind about my inadequacies with a paintbrush, but at least I logically know that it's okay to experiment, play around, and express myself on the canvas. I'm always saddened to learn that so very many people grew up with teachers of faith that were similar to Mr. What's His Name, my elementary school art teacher. So many people were taught that there is an extremely narrow and patriarchally determined right way to believe, and that they were probably just bad at it. They were taught that there is a clearly prescribed and specific method for experiencing God's presence in their lives and answering the big questions of life, and unfortunately, their creative spiritual wondering and wandering was inappropriate and sinful. There's this mysterious line in John's Gospel. Actually, there's a bunch of mysterious lines in John's Gospel, but this one is particularly haunting and appropriate. Jesus is teaching a gentle lesson about the mysteries of God's presence to a Pharisee named Nicodemus late at night. He says, the wind blows where it chooses, and you hear the sound of it, but you do not know where it comes from or where it goes. I think Jesus would have been a great elementary school art teacher. He would have offered guidance and direction. He would have given purpose and meaning to any particular project or painting. He would have encouraged and challenged his students, but then he would have reminded them that art, like faith, is mysterious and elusive and flowing like wind or like water. He would have given permission to wonder and wander and explore, not pressure to follow the rules or stick to the paint-by-numbers plan. In a recent post on her online newsletter, Reverend Nadia Bolz-Weber wrote this about the confluence of uncertainty, faith, doubts, and the things we were taught about the right ways to believe. She wrote this: I guess I just no longer think of faith as intellectually assenting to theological propositions or as regularly confirming in myself that I believe all the wildest stories in the Bible are literally, factually, historically accurate. Faith functions in my life as something closer to gravity than ideology. Nadia talks about gravity. Jesus talks about wind. Another author I respect very much is Rachel Held Evans. She was taken from this world too soon, but while she was here, she wrote this. She wrote that faith is about following the quiet voice of God without having everything figured out ahead of time. A quiet voice, gravity, wind. May these faith teachers give you permission to wonder, and may they relieve you of the pressure to believe. May faith take the amorphous shape of earthly elements and quiet whispers. May you know that no matter what you were taught as a child, you were always wonderful at faith and art, even if your creative instincts ran counter to the methods of your teachers. May we experience each other and experience our understanding of God like we experience the wind, like we experience gravity, like we experience the quiet voices we sense in our souls. May we wonder about each other and be in awe of each other, and may we explore each other's power and potential. May we marvel at each other's strength and magnetism. May we provide each other permission to wonder and never burden one another with pressure to believe in the same way we might. Amen. Between is about you. Take this message into your life this week and fill the space between you and every person you encounter with your sacred light. My favorite church is the space between people. Now go with God's love and create the church between.